Hey, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. You're watching 100% NUFC. I hope you all enjoyed the winter break. I certainly did, I'm not going to lie. I do miss me football, but on this occasion, I was feeling rather tired with all the games that have been coming thick and fast, all of the content that I've had to be producing on the channel. So I've just needed a bit of time out to relax, reflect, and now I'm back fully ready to go, full of energy, ready to conclude the rest of the season. So it's the Arsenal versus Newcastle match preview this Sunday at the Emirates Stadium, and it's a 4:30 kickoff, and Arsenal are the opponent. It's going to be a really tough game from a Newcastle fan's point of view, but I am still feeling rather confident. I'm feeling like we could actually come away from Emirates with, a positive result. That does sound cocky coming from a Newcastle fan, given on screen our record is not very good down at the Emirates Stadium. We haven't beaten them since 2010, all thanks to an Andy Carroll goal. That's when we first got promoted back to the Premier League under Chris Hughton in 2010, when we got relegated from the Premier League in 2009. And that was a really good away day in terms of a good first result ever at the Emirates Stadium. But since then, we have lost 7 games in a row down at the Emirates, and we haven't got a very good record, so they've definitely got one over us. But records are there to be broken, and we've got a very good chance on Sunday to come away with at least a positive result of any kind. In the way Arsenal are playing this season, let's be honest with you, they're there for the taking, and I believe if we go all out and have a go, then anything is possible. Now, as you can see on the screen, our last 3 results, if there's any Arsenal fans watching, we did beat Oxford United 3-2 in the 4th round of the FA Cup, and we have now progressed to the 5th round against West Brom for the first time in 14 years. I can't believe it's been that long. But in terms of the Premier League, we are unbeaten in 8 games, including League and Cup. Now, I have to say, against Norwich City, we drew 0-0. Not the best result. It is a poor one, but given the circumstances, I thought Norwich were by far the better side. They deserved all 3 points. I am grateful that we did come away with a point in the end. They do all add up, but I would have preferred all 3. But we did remain unbeaten in that game. Before that, we did draw 2-2 with Everton down at Goodison Park. How we've managed to come away from that game with a 2-2 draw, I'll never know. 2-0 down, a minute to go of stoppage time, and we scored 2 very late goals from Lejeune, and we've managed to rescue a point. And then before that, we've beaten Chelsea 1-0 at St James's Park with a very late Isaac Hayden header. But all in all, it is good that we are 8 games unbeaten, so Arsenal fans do know that we are 8 games unbeaten and that we are going to have a go, and we're going to at least try and come away with something. This season so far, we've been grinding out results. The football hasn't been great. We haven't really been doing enough in terms of working the goalkeeper, but I would say we're very clinical in terms of what we do with the ball, in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. You could say that against Everton. Everton dominated us through the game, but we took 2 chances, scored. And then you could say that against Chelsea, 1-0. They dominated us, scored a very late goal. And then it's all about just sticking in there, and riding through the moments. Against Oxford, we could easily have collapsed and lost that game, but we're stuck in there and won 3-2. Norwich, the pressure was on at times. Norwich had some good chances. We're stuck in there, and we've managed to come away with a 0-0 draw. So it's not too bad. And Arsenal know that if they don't put their chances away, there's always going to be a chance for us at the end of the match. And they're no different to anybody else this season. And looking at the Premier League table, Arsenal and Newcastle are both locked on 31 points. Arsenal are 10th. And I wouldn't say they're there by accident. They're there because they deserve to be there. They're not having a very good season. And in terms of ourselves, as this is talking about Newcastle, we're currently 12th in the league, and I think that's about right for us. We don't have the best squad on paper. We just tend to grind results out, and that's probably where we're going to be come the end of the season. And I think mid-table, where we are, anybody would snap your hand off, to be there come the end of the season. Let's hope we can remain around there come May. But I think in terms of results, I think we are sort of right by look at times. Do we deserve to be 12th? Well, that's where the league tells me that's where we deserve to be. But people would say that we deserve to be a little bit lower, but who cares? Now, let's jump into a player focus for Newcastle. If there's any Arsenal fans watching, I would say Alan St-Maximin, our go-to man for goals. You could also say Almiron, but he is on form. He did score the winner against Oxford. He's starting to find his place in the Premier League. He's really starting to improve his game. He's quick. He's one of those players, if you give him a lot of space around the box, he's going to likely cut in, or he's going to do one of his solo runs and he's going to finish. That's how he works. He's rapid. He likes to cause problems to a defence, and we all know how Arsenal are poor at defending, and how, because they've been leaking in so many goals, they are where they are in the league. And I would say Alan St-Maximin because he's absolute dynamite, on that ball, and he will cause a problem at the Emirates on Sunday if you give him the service. Now, in terms of my start 11, I've drawn up for my club Newcastle. It's going to start like this. In goal, Martin Dubravka. On the left-hand side, I've gone with Danny Rose. On the right-hand side, I've gone with DeAndre Yedlin. My three in defence, I've gone with Florian Lejeune. In the middle, I've gone with Captain Jamal Lascelles. And just next to him, I've gone with Kieran Clark. Now, I've got two centre midfielders. First up, Sean Longstaff. And alongside him, Isaac Hayden. Now, my front three is a little bit like this. On one side, I've gone with Almiron. On the other side, I've gone with Alan St-Maximin. And in the middle, Joe Linton. So that is my start 11. Let me know, any Newcastle fans, what start 11 you would put down below in the comments, who we just start off with on Sunday. Of course, there might be some injuries to that start 11, so if there is, I will change them down below in the comments. So don't judge us if I've got anything wrong, because this is before Steve Bruce's press conference on the Friday morning. Now, let's jump into Arsenal. So, of course, they're going into this game, off the back of a 0-0 draw against Burnley. They probably ought to have went to Turf Moor and got all 3 points, but from what I'd seen, I don't think they played fantastic. I thought Burnley deserved, the point that they got, and that's probably down to how well Burnley are well drilled under Sean Dyche. Arsenal, for me, just haven't done enough this season in terms of going forward, and that result pretty much reflected that. Before that, they did beat Bournemouth down at their place, Bournemouth 2-1 in the FA Cup, so they progressed. They're playing Portsmouth in the 5th round. And then before that, they've drawn with the likes of Chelsea, Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. So Arsenal this season, their problem's been scoring goals and capitalising on teams and not really winning games. They haven't won enough games this season to suggest that they should be higher in the league. And that's why I say Newcastle have got every chance of going to the Emirates and coming away with a result, because they've really struggled, under Unai Emery at the start of the season. They just weren't picking up results. Players playing for themselves, not playing for the badge. And they've sort of lost their identity, and Unai Emery got the sack. I still believe probably it was a harsh sacking, but then again, Arsenal fans, let me know your comments down below what you think about that. Has it really improved under Arteta? A little bit. I wouldn't say it's improved big time, but it will take a little bit of time in terms of a few windows. They do need to get rid of some deadwood, in my opinion. They've got players such as Ozil, who, in my opinion, probably don't even want to be there. Lacazette, I think he's been very poor, hasn't done enough for Arsenal in my opinion, doesn't score enough goals. I could go through that side. It's defensively all over the place. David Luiz, not fantastic. He's prone to so many errors. You've got the likes of Tierney, Bellerin, who've been injured, so of course they've been unlucky there. But all in all, if you look at that squad, I just don't feel it's good enough. I know Arsenal fans demand that they want to be in the top 4 or the top 6, but have they got a squad capable enough of being in the top 6? I don't think so. I think they lack a lot of quality, and there's always a club that falls from grace from being, a regular top 4, top 6 side, and that is Arsenal. I don't see them now as a top 6 side unless they really invest, because if you look at Stan Kroenke, since he's been there, he hasn't invested enough in that football club, and they're not really where they should be. In 10th, I think that's probably about right, because the squad just simply isn't good enough. They're prone to, making mistakes, and they make too many of them, and they're going to have a massive clear out in terms of players this summer. I mean, you could also compare us when we used to be in the top 4, top 6 side. Now look where we are. We're currently mid-table fodder, and that's where we deserve to be because of our owner. And Stan Kroenke and Mike Ashley are very, very similar in terms of they're greedy. They're just there for themselves. They're not there for the identity of the club. And Arsenal and Newcastle, I think we're both in a very similar situation, I would say. But of course, Arsenal have got the better history in terms of trophies. But all in all, going into the game, I think we're very, very similar in terms of squad. I know they've got a couple of decent players there, such as Aubameyang. He's got 16 goals. I'll put him in my player focus because he can score on his day. He's got unbelievable pace. He's strong, and he just needs service. But he hasn't had enough of that this season, and he's pretty much carrying Arsenal's side. And then of course you got the young Martinelli, Brazilian striker. He's got 10 goals this season. For a young lad who's only 18, I believe. Let us know down below in the comments how old he is, but he's only a young lad and he's playing really well when he's been given his opportunities. And then you obviously got Lacazette, who's been injury prone. He's got 6 goals, but is that enough from Lacazette? I don't believe so. And then you've got the likes of Mesut Ozil, if he plays well on his game. He's a world-class midfielder when he's on his game, but he doesn't have enough of them for Arsenal. That's why they've struggled this season. Pepe, I would give him time. I think he is a very good up-and-coming young player for Arsenal. He's a bit like a winger, isn't he? He likes to cut in. And I think all in all, he's a real talent there. But yes, he has come with a big price tag, but he just needs a bit more time to gel into the Premier League. And I think so far, especially in the last couple of months, he's really stepped up his game, and you're starting to see the real Pepe. But I believe in the summer, if Arsenal have a clear out and get some better players in, maybe more hard-working players, no offence to what they've already got, then they could become a better club in terms of going forward. Arsenal can go forward, but for me, it's a clear out thing. And like I keep saying at the back, I would also say for us, you know, if we're attacking, watch out for David Luiz, who they signed from Chelsea in the summer, because he's prone to a mistake, and that's where we're going to, you know, capitalise on Arsenal, their back, their defence, you know, where they defend, because they're not good enough, and that's been their problem so far this season. Now, of course, it will be a tough game. It's how we approach it. Of course, I expect Arsenal to have all of the ball. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be a tough all afternoon for us, but if we go about it the right way, and we'll have a go, and we attack them, we work the front three, Almiron, St Maximin and Joe Linton, then possibly something could happen. I know Joe Linton's, at the minute, he did score in the FA Cup, albeit against Oxford, but in the Premier League he needs to do more. It's a 50-50 on Joe Linton really at the minute, because yes, you could argue that he deserves better service, but at the same time, he could work a lot harder. He needs to get himself in the box a lot more. He needs to try and make something happen. And at the minute, yeah, it's not for the want of trying. He's been very unlucky, especially against the likes of Norwich, where Tim Krul pulled off a fantastic save. But for me, he needs to do a lot more of that, make himself a bit more of a presence. But in terms of how we go about it, I think if we defend really well and we work as a side, and Steve Bruce gets his tactics spot on, then you never know Arsenal are there for the taking. I believe that we are going to come away from the Emirates with at least a point. So in terms of my score prediction, I actually am going to go for a 1-1 draw. Ideally, I'd love to see us come away with all 3 points, but I'm realistic to know that Arsenal against them at the Emirates hasn't been great. You know, history telling you in the last 10 years, we've only won once, but as I've said before, history is there to be made, and there's no better time now to play Arsenal given their recent form. Now, Arsenal fans, let me know down below that score prediction. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think you're going to get all 3 points? Newcastle fans, do you think we're going to get all 3 points? Or do you think a draw would be acceptable? Or do you think we're going to get beat? I hope not. But fingers crossed, everything crossed, that we are going to come away with at least something from the match. And like I say, we just have to try and keep grinding, you know, every game that we play. It's not going to be easy. There's no easy game in the Premier League. There's no walk in the park game. Every game is going to be difficult. That's why you're in the Premier League. We're there to compete. In the last sort of few games, we haven't really competed despite being 8 games unbeaten, but it's been getting us the results, and we can look back and think we didn't lose the game, because sometimes if you're expansive and you go for it, sometimes you can be broken down and you can be prone to conceding goals. But I am feeling rather confident for Sunday at the Emirates that we'll come away with at least a draw, and Arsenal are there for the taking, well and truly. Now, of course, if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to go along and subscribe, help us out. I'm hearing in the statistics down below that only 50% of you are subscribing. Why is that? Please go along and subscribe. It's free. I do want to try and hit 2,600 subs. So if you can sub down below in the comments, just press it. Literally takes 2 seconds. Hit the thumbs up as well. Can we try and hit 20 likes or more? That would be fantastic. If we do, we do. We don't, we don't. And follow me on social media, 100% NUFC on Twitter and Instagram. And again, put your comments down below for your start 11s, Newcastle and Arsenal, and your score predictions. I'll get back in touch with you down below in the comments right after this video. So enjoy the weekend, Jodies, Arsenal fans, and I'll see you back for the review on Sunday night / Sunday or Monday afternoon.